Good afternoon. As Peter said, I'm Tom Bowen, and my wife and I, Hayley, founded the King Alfred School, which is an independent classical Christian primary school near Dudley. As you've heard today, a lot of our institutions in this country have been captured by people who have values that are completely different to those of our own. And I knew as a parent that if I was to carelessly send my child to a government-run school, that he would be in an environment where the values were at odds with that as a family at home, as we're English Christians. So we expressed our concerns to the minister of our church, and he, which is probably quite sensibly, suggested that we become governors at the local C of E school. But we felt that would be like trying to steer the Titanic with a teaspoon. The institutions are so far gone, and there's so little appetite for what we had in mind. We felt that there was a need for a complete fresh start. So me and my wife founded the King Alfred Classical Christian School, which is an independent school that receives no state funding, with the aims of passing on the culture and heritage of the Christian West through a classical education. Another word for that is a liberal education, liberal meaning free. So the aim of our school is to produce students who are free thinking and can live as responsible, free citizens in a democracy like England, and who know and love their history, their culture, and their country. And I'll just pass over to my wife to explain a little bit more.
Good afternoon, everyone. As a teacher and as a parent, I often questioned if I would want to put my own children through the education system that I had worked in. My feeling was no, I do not. I heard something that has stayed with me until this day, and that was, if you thoughtlessly, mindlessly send your children to the state progressives for an education, they will return to you as strangers. We are seeing this more and more in society. The values taught at school are not shared by the values at home. And in many cases now, parents are deemed as the enemy if they do not possess the state's latest new set of values for their children. G.K. Chesterton once said, "Education is simply the soul of a society as it passes from one generation to the next." I would argue that we're in very real danger of not having a soul anymore. We need to reconnect with our Western freedoms and to pass on to our children all that is good, all that is true, and all that is beautiful, so that they have a chance to do better than us. For the last 150 years, progressive education has been the prevalent way of educating in this country. It has no focus on moral formation, on truth, or of passing on culture and wisdom and virtue to its pupils that it teaches. It has been more about a conveyor belt, factory-like system which trains people for the job market. It trains very much what to think, not how to think. I would argue that the education of children is the biggest issue we face as a culture today. That sounds very gloomy. And to quote Chesterton again, because there's so many Chesterton quotes I could use, and one of the ones I've been recently reading a lot is that a public education system is yet to produce an educated public. And I think that is the state of today. The good news is that there are new schools starting across the country. We believe it only takes one generation to fix this problem. It's not going to happen overnight because we've had generations now of children being poorly educated. The current system of education, in my belief, is so far gone that at its current state, it's beyond reforming. Perhaps we can go back in later years when they see successful independent schools and the results that they are having and go back to some of these institutions that did have great roots. We need to either start our own institutions or support those that do. Our school started in 2021 and we are growing and we are helping others to start schools. To give you a bit of an idea, starting a school is not easy. We're just everyday people. It's a grassroots movement. We're not millionaires. There is no real help out there for starting an independent school. There is an email address, not even a telephone number, at the independent sector of the Department for Education, and there is a set of independent school standards, 220 standards that I know like the back of my hand now. It is quite a lonely process, and because people are so reliant on the state, people can hardly believe that it is possible to start a school. I've had many people ask me if it is legal, if you can even start a school. The answer is yes. I often have to say to people, how did any of our institutions start in the first place? They were started by people, often very good people, and our universities, the concept in itself is a Christian one. We know that there are many out there who feel that the education system is bad, but they really don't know what to do about it. They feel like they grumble about it. They don't want to send their children to the systems that they have, independent schools and state-funded schools, but they often say, what am I to do? I'll just have to send them anyway. There is an increase in home education. Now, some people feel really cool to home educate and they really enjoy doing that, whereas there are others who are educating now at home just because they don't like the other options that are out there. They don't necessarily want to do it, but they feel that they have no other choice. Our school are for those people who want to send their children to school with other peers and also want to live in a community where people share some common ground and want to raise their children up as a community, because it's a well-known saying when we say it takes a village to raise a child, and we believe it helps to have schools and families working in partnership with each other. Otherwise, as a parent, you spend your time asking your child what they've learnt at school and asking them not to take notice of their teachers, which is quite an unuseful way for a child to be raised. Now, we're people who are not well connected. We have no financial backers. We've done this all on the goodwill of friends and the community to get a school started from scratch. I'd like to take this opportunity to just comment. When we went on the New Culture Forum, that was a great time that we had. We really wanted to get the word out there that schools can be started and you can actually do it yourselves. Everyday people can start a school. We get people comment how great the work is. They might like a post on Facebook. They might retweet what's going on. But what would be really nice is if people could back us, because we have took the hard decision not to accept state funding, and that was because we didn't want to compromise on the curriculum that we teach, on the numbers we'd have to provide, which we don't agree with. So we really need people to donate to our cause so we can remain open. I would urge you once more to support new startups, as much benefit can come from them. Movements like this can make a real difference. Classical Christian education is the education that everyone would have received if you were educated before progressive education started. It has been tried and tested. It has educated people for centuries. America is so far ahead of us in reviving classical Christian education. They're around 40 years in front of us. And the sad thing is, it seems we get most of our support and encouragement from America, who seem to care more about our culture, our history, our great literature than we do today. And often when I speak to classical schools in America, they cannot believe that these schools, our old British school model to a degree, don't exist in England today. Many of the greatest thinkers of history have had this type of education. It is the education that concentrates on truth, not indoctrination, Goodness, not activism, and beauty, not mediocrity. We've had many speakers today who have all pointed out some of the insane behaviours of certain groups in society. And you feel for these people because they are desperate to belong to something. And unfortunately, they use identity politics to do this. Properly educated people who have a sense of worth and belonging and are rooted to their great Western inheritance can do so much more and can be such happier members of society with a real sense of worth and a purpose. Please support us and partner with us as we stand for truth, goodness and beauty, and we ask you to consider giving what you can. If you can give £100, if you can give £1,000 or £10,000, help us continue to have a school, to grow into secondary education and to help the 20 other groups that we're currently speaking to across the UK who also wish to start independent classical schools. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, if you're enjoying the New Culture Forum channel and you believe in our mission, may I invite you to join our membership scheme at the link below or on our website, newcultureforum.org.uk. Our work is more important now than ever and we have great plans ahead for the future, but we can't do it without your support. From as little as £3 per month, you can help ensure that we continue on our mission. As a member, you'll receive a range of benefits, including access to exclusive content, invitations to our private events, including here at our studios, free copies of our books, and much, much more, including, of course, our famous NCF mug. If you aren't able to become a member, then please help us by clicking this button and subscribing to our channel. It's completely free. Just remember to also click the bell icon so that you can get notifications when we post new videos. Thank you.